Hi there, Aries. Thank you for joining me for your weekly forecast for week commencing the 29th of August. Your ruling planet, Mars, continues its alliance with Saturn in the first half of this week. But of course, Neptune is squaring up to these influences too, as they were last week. So it is going to be vitally important to make sure that when it comes to facts and figures and anything to do with knowledge or information, possibly of a legal or contractual kind, or anything to do with travel or higher education, that you're absolutely on the ball. But there's another reason for this, because on Tuesday, Mercury, the planet of communication, slams on the brakes and goes into the third of its 3 annual retrogrades. Now, because of the way the planets are configuring this year, actually Mercury is going to go into a fourth retrograde in the last 2 weeks of this year. But for now, it's focusing its energy on the sign of Virgo, which Mercury coincidentally rules. Now, a lot of astrologers will be saying that Mercury retrograde is going to lead to lots of problems, glitches, misunderstandings and mix-ups. And of course it can. But also we have to see the upside of Mercury's retrograde, which really asks us to work on the area of concern. And for you, this is very much about your life structure, organisation, attitudes to health, fitness, diet and work. And also perhaps about how you are a bit more sacrificing to the greater cause, how you help other people too. And it's possible that there are lessons to learn for you in the next 2 or 3 weeks because of this retrograde. But you know what's wonderful for you, Aries, is that Venus, the planet of relating, moves on Tuesday too into your opposite sign, where she's going to be, Venus, for the next 28 days. And this is wonderful for your opportunities to reach out and connect with other people in a more gracious, sometimes charming, and potentially very harmonising way. However, if there are going to be some issues coming up, the thing I think that's going to be important to hold on to is not jump into conclusions too readily. And the solar eclipse, which occurs on Thursday, on the first day of September, is really a point in case, because in the following 6 months, the influence that it's forging with the opposition to Neptune and the square to Saturn suggests that that information can be surprisingly opaque, and anything to do with dissolving structures or in some ways encountering unreliable people, or where your own imagination can seem to loom in a way which is not necessarily helpful to your overall outlook and well-being. Those are things you're going to have to battle in these months ahead. So making sure you're really on the ball, that you've got everything tied down, but at the same time you can stay hold of the big picture. You're not totally focused just on the details. That's going to be very important. And that's where Saturn is, really. It's asking you to always be open-minded and learn new information or new ways of doing things. But this week does provide these challenges. So there is an opportunity to revise parts of your life, and you can use Mercury's retrograde to do that. See it as a positive, but also make sure that you're doing the things you can control in a very precise way, because you are going to encounter situations where you can't control things and they may go awry. But I do feel if you can see it this way, see it very positively, and see that the more you can relate to other people through Venus's fantastic support, then the next few weeks can be quite magical for you around relationships. And if you're footloose and fancy free, don't be surprised if you get chatting to someone in a very random, even ordinary situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a nightclub or a bar or even online. It could just be somewhere very earthy. And once you make that spark, your ability to listen and to relate and to discuss fairly ordinary things can actually open up the dialogue, which sees you getting on extremely well with someone. But if you do want to take a second look at your overall health situation, this is certainly a fine time to go at things. And it doesn't matter whether it's psychological, spiritual or physical. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.